You're listening to Family Today with Funmi Johnson.
It's another beautiful Friday morning and you're welcome to Family Today with Femi Johnson. Somebody make some noise. Woo! I have a special brother, friend, family, relative, whatever name you're going to call that relationship here in the studio today. Very great man, married to a wonderful woman. And he's been married for 36 years. To be married to the same woman for 36 years, that's a lot. Oh, if you're listening here, just jam your hands together and welcome with me, my own brother, Pastor Femi Ogumbanwo. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a great honor.
Thank you. So today I won't do much of the talking because I would like us to glean, to get a lot from him. He wrote a book, The Intelligent Marriage, Understanding, Preparation, and Doing Marriage Well. And I'm like, seriously? I want to know that. I mean, December 5 this year will be 32 years that I've been married. And I know it's not been all smooth. Sometimes high, sometimes very, very low, sometimes uncertain. So how do you have intelligent marriage? First of all, sir, why intelligent marriage? What made you write that?
Okay, so I chose the title because I thought that from my experience and private practice, apart from being a pastor, I'm also a divorce and separation mediator qualified in the UK.
The D word?
Yes. I mediate between divorced and separated couples, not just in church, but in the secular world. I am also a alternate conflict resolution professional, a relationship coach. So in bringing all those ideas together, I concluded that if more people were actually intelligent about their relationships, they are more likely to be more productive and last longer. Okay, so come to intelligence then, even though I define it in the book. Basically, let me use an illustration very quickly, a brief one. I always say to people, if half of us would approach our marriages and relationships in at least half, if not all the same, if at least half the way that we approach our professions, our vocations in life, we'll be more successful. And we usually do that intelligently. So let's say I'm a professional in some area and I'm applying for a job with another company, or maybe I'm even headhunted. Let's say I'm so good that I'm being headhunted and they're looking for me. Still, I do a measure of preparation because we're going to have an interview, no matter how perfunctory that interview is. We're going to have an interview. I'm going to tell them about them. I'm going to tell them about me. I'm going to tell them about my hopes, aspirations, and so on. We're going to see how we merge, how we do well together. Okay? Now, imagine if they didn't even headhunt me. I'm looking for a job. That's the way I see marriage. You're looking for a job of a wife. I'm looking for a job of a husband.
Come on.
We need to know about each other, what we're looking for in life, our hopes, aspirations, our ambitions, our personalities, proclivities, preferences. All this stuff need to be known intentionally, not just before you come together.
I think at this point, before we start talking about marriage, let's go to the single life. Because whatever decision you made as a single, that's what will determine what's going to happen in the marriage. So you're saying we should intelligently make our choice. Now, let's give a scenario. I'm a woman, I'm 25, already seen a man that I like. What are the things that I need to put in place before I cross the dotted line?
Oh, wow. Okay, that's not a 1 minute discussion, but I'm going to try to summarize it for you. There's a whole chapter of that, preparing for marriage, in there where I actually give a sort of, it's not exhaustive, but it's quite a long list of things to look out for and to consider before you sign up. So some basic essentials and desirables for preparation. So here's some non-negotiables. You look at opposite gender, obviously, because I'm writing for Europe as well. We're dealing with gender issues. Some basic ones. Same faith or belief system. Okay? Because sooner or later the alignment of beliefs will be tested, and if unaligned, the marriage will be sabotaged in some moral or ethical issue at the parenting.
Can we have a conversation on that?
Yes.
You know, when people say belief system,
yes,
most times we look at Christians versus Muslims,
Yes.
Buddhists versus Confucianists or something.
Yes.
But even within the same
Within
sect,
the same church, within the same movement, within the same tradition, you still need to consider belief systems. Okay? You still need, there's the very obviously patent ones like a practicing Muslim marrying a Pentecostal. That usually weirds me out. But that's another matter entirely. But even with the same tradition, I think you both need to come down. And I provide a tool in here as well of considering those sort of things. So from page, for instance, on 176 onwards, you're looking at culture and identity. You're looking at lifestyle, entertainment, conflict, work, and I supply about a dozen questions in each area. Friendships, health and sickness, personality matching, etc., etc. You need to lay it down. Ask each other very direct questions. For instance, I have a very good friend, one of my best mates. If we were to be talking Bible, for instance, you wouldn't think we were different. We're very close. However, he doesn't speak in tongues. He doesn't believe in speaking in tongues.
so if as a woman I want to marry that kind of person,
And you don't know,
and I don't
and
know,
you don't ask,
oh my goodness.
you are going to marry someone who is not prepared to pray with you in a certain way. Fortunately, my friend, he has a book, so it's one of his questions. Whenever he meets somebody, he's not married right now, it's one of his questions. What do you believe about the gifts of the Holy Spirit?
With the evidence of speaking in tongues. And I don't believe it. Can two really work
They
together?
cannot. And
2 Corinthians 6:14 says
that's right.
that.
Yeah, it's in here.
Don't be unequally yoked.
And it applies to Christians, non-Christians, whosoever, because I believe, and I'm jumping the gun a little bit here, marriage is a creation order thing. It's not just a Christian thing.
Say that again.
Marriage is a creation order thing. It
What do you
happened
mean
in
by that?
Genesis. Straight after creation, humanity was basically introduced to marriage. All of humanity. That's why God would be a witness or to any marriage in any culture, in any religion.
Because from marriage comes children.
Absolutely.
And God wants children all over the world.
So marriage is a creation order thing. However, as Christians, as believers, or those people of covenant, our other brethren of the Jewish heritage, as people of covenant with God, He has given us a way to do it well.
So what we're really talking about today, if you're listening, this is Family Today with Funmi Johnson, and I have a guest in the studio today. And what we're talking about is God is interested in your marriage.
Absolutely.
And He has given us a blueprint, a roadmap, a way to make it work. And so if you listen to us, you will know how we have done it. And if you combine our years together, that's almost 70. 32,
32, that's what,
68. Almost 70, almost 70 years experience.
Of experience. Mostly good.
And if we're still together,
we're still together.
I'm still
standing, and we're making it work.
I think the
so let me just throw something there. People sometimes ask me, how's it going for you? What is this? I said, listen, I'm about 73.5% happy, to be honest.
Well, can I say something about that statistics though?
Yes.
I say to people, our spouses, the best of the spouse, they're like 80%. The best. Mostly 60 to 80%.
Yes.
And what we hate in our spouse is just 20%.
Yeah.
And that's what's causing the problem. But most times what causes separation, divorce, irreconcilable difference is that 20%.
Yes.
And most people go out, look for that 20%, only to find it and lose the 80%.
That's right. So we draw their attention back to the 80%.
To the 80%.
Yes.
So, because you will never, I know you don't like it, but you will never get 100%. I settled that just only 2 years ago.
Oh, really? Welcome. I settled that quite a while ago.
Maybe I started settling it instrumentally. You know, I'll just look at it and say, no, I don't think this can work.
I actually devised a system of appraisal, which I follow myself every 12 to 18 months. Appraise yourself, appraise your marriage, and know where you are as intelligently as possible.
I'm going to ask you some hard questions on marriage,
Yes, ma'am.
because I want
Go
us to
ahead.
be able to help people who are not able to divulge what they're going through. But before we go there, I want us to drill down a little bit on the singles before we go on a short break.
I'll do what I
These single people, what is your advice to them? We said they should harmonize their belief system.
Yes.
What other thing do they need to put in place?
Singles really would do best with a mentor. I think singles who are planning to get married, I always counsel them. Not just that end bit after they've chosen the dress, they've chosen the wedding date, and then they go for counseling. Before. You need to have a mentor. It's
An
good.
unbiased umpire.
Unbiased umpire. You need to follow like we follow these days, a family that is doing well. So that you can see how Funmi is doing, you can see how Femi is doing, you can see how Maggie is doing.
And then you can ask them
and you can ask them
questions.
the hard
Why do you do
questions.
this
Why do
the
you do
way?
that? Why do you behave that way? Why did you answer her like that? Why did she answer you this way?
Why did she slam the door?
Absolutely. Singles need that sense of mentoring. And by the way, parents who have sort of begin to mentor intentionally your children so that they are your proteges, so to speak. Okay? Right. So that's one good advice I have for them. Mentoring. The second one, obviously, is that in the same way, I go back to it again, that you approach any job or aspiration, life aspiration that you have with knowledge, with intelligence. Pursue marriage in that same way. Know what it means. Know what your responsibilities and roles are going to be. Know what your non-negotiables are.
What are the deal breakers?
What are the deal breakers? Absolutely.
I'm not going to do this.
I'm not going to do this. I can't do that. And you walk away from it.
But you know, I've already told people. He already proposed. So can I still walk away?
Yes, you can. You're not married till you're married.
You're not married till you're married.
Absolutely.
So even if he has proposed and you have said yes, all you need to do is probably return the ring.
Yes.
Because it's better for you to have a broken engagement than a broken marriage. Because a broken engagement is between the two of you for the most part.
And you can make it work. You can make it work. I counseled a couple once that they had chosen clothes, everything, dates, we had the IV, and they did not get married. Because I always tell them, if you come to me, you may not get married, because my job is to expose you to each other. And by the third session, they were so exposed that the woman said, I can't do this. You're not the guy I fell in love with, actually.
I didn't know this is who you really are.
Absolutely.
Okay, but how can a single person prepare for those unforeseen things that come up in marriage? Because one of the things I know that cause problem in marriage is those unmet expectations. How can we prep the singles for that?
Well, you can only prep so much, to be honest with you. But once you do the foundational work of prepping, you already begin to develop that whole prepping. I go back to it again, like you're prepping for a job. Know as much as you can about marriage. Know as much as you can about your job and go into it. But then that develops a certain disposition, a certain way of handling things, so that when you're in the thick of it, you can resort to those ways of handling things. And with the help of your mentors, then you're able to also pivot as required in any given situation. You will not be able to solve everything, but there are systems of dealing with things. It's a bit like absolutely a protocol of dealing with conflict step by step, if you're open to it and you can sort it.
You know what I'm hearing from the author of Intelligent Marriage is, I have an acronym for singles. I say use your brain.
Use your brain.
B means balance the head with the heart. So that means what you're saying is balance your head.
Yes, ma'am.
Be informed.
Be informed.
With wisdom, a house is built. With understanding is established. With knowledge, the rooms are filled with treasures. Be informed with what is marriage. Then answer the question, what is marriage to me? What is marriage to this man that I want to marry, or this woman that I want to marry?
Yep.
If marriage means the woman cleans the house and the man pays the bills, you better agree on it. And if you come to this meeting and he says, that's not my understanding of it. We have an example. There was a lady that was counseled and he said, my understanding of marriage is that I take care of the home and the man goes out to work. I only multiply the things he brings.
Yes.
And in counseling, we told them, this picture that she has painted, this is the implication. And the guy said, I can do that. They are not yet 5 years, they're separated.
He couldn't do it, could it?
But why did he say he could do it? We're going to go on a short break now. We continue this conversation after the short break. Remember, you can follow me, the Femi Johnson, on all social media platforms, and Femi Ogumbanwo. That's a beautiful name, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, we continue after the short break.
Paul says it is better for a single man to marry than to burn. Are you single, married, widowed, separated, or divorced? Join me on Family Today.
Family Today with Femi Johnson is one program that will bring you in alignment with who you truly are and open your mind to how you rock your significant interpersonal relationships while sidestepping the landmines, culture, religion, and society have laid in your path. Family Today with Femi Johnson goes where others are shy to go and shines the light in the dark corners others have forgotten. Tune in at 11:30 a.m. every Friday to listen to Family Today with Femi Johnson on Inspiration 92.3 FM.
Now we're back. Remember, we're talking about marriage today, and our special guest is our own pastor all the way from Wales, Femi Ogumbanwo. He's been married for 36 years. I'm really, really super excited. I'm looking forward to that. And I know it can only get better and sweeter. So one of the things you said in the first half was, we need to understand the meaning of marriage. And if the single does not understand what marriage is, then maybe he wouldn't even know how to handle it. So what is marriage? How do you define it?
What is marriage?
Yes, sir.
Well, I might as well read my definition to you.
Yes, sir.
I
That's
could quote
page,
it, but
what page of your book?
Page 8 it is.
And by the way, if you do not have a copy of this book, we're going to put it on Seller so you can download and read.
Page 8 of the book. Concludes with a definition after I go through all the background, the backstory to marriage, etc. Marriage is the covenant of an adult man and adult woman, ratified by contemporary law and custom, to a lifetime of completely sharing their lives at the deepest level, pursuing common causes, and cultivating mutual pleasure and joy. It is based on promises of faithfulness, devotion, and exclusive sexual intimacy. So it's a very long sentence. There are two sentences, but there are segments to it. There are segments.
Can you break it down?
Okay, let's break it down quickly. So here are the segments. We want opposite genders. That's number one.
So here on this show, I'm not in the UK.
Yes. Yes.
I am against bisexual, homosexual, lesbianism, LGBT, all the things.
Yes.
Marriage from the beginning was male and female.
That's right.
Thank you.
Male and female. That's why we put it there. We don't want any confusion about it whatsoever. Ratified by customary law and custom. So somebody, wherever you live, wherever you are, marriage is not just about the two of you. Somebody else has to say that you are married.
Come on.
Somebody,
whether your parents,
whether your system of law, whether somebody, you can't just get together and say we're married. Somebody else has to say that you are married.
Someone outside of the two
of you. And those same people could say, no, you can't get married.
Oh.
Depending on what's going on. That's why they give you the option at the ceremony to say, does anybody have any reason why these two should not? There might be brothers and sisters that don't know each other. We don't want that happening around here. Brothers and sisters getting married.
They were twins separated at birth.
At birth. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's been known to happen. So, and we're talking a lifetime. Lifetime. Marriage is designed for a lifetime. There were some that were completely sharing their lives at the deepest level. Marriage, there should be no reserves.
You're going fast, sir. In this age and time?
Yes.
Are you saying marriage is meant for a lifetime?
It's meant for a lifetime.
Do you understand what you're really talking about?
I have a clue. Sorry about
I know you've done 36
British
years.
understatement.
All of us, we have best friends that are separated. We have cousins. We have mentors. We have.
Very unfortunate.
So what I'm saying is,
Very
if it's a lifetime, is there anything we can do to ensure that?
Yes. And the next sort of statements kind of give us how you can make it a lifetime. Lifetime is about duration, but what you vow to do is not so much to be there for a lifetime, but to cultivate deep intimacy at the deepest level, to share a common cause, to have mutual pleasure and joy. That's what you're committing to. Mutual pleasure and joy, common cause, and deep intimacy. That's the commitment of marriage.
I think it takes us back to what you said about the intelligence. How do you have a common cause if you haven't sat down?
Absolutely.
To say, this is my belief system.
Yeah.
These are my priorities.
Yes.
These are my aspirations.
Yes.
This is what I want to be. I have a case I'm handling right now. This lady met this man and she was working in a big corporation. I don't want to mention so that I don't give up the name of the person, in Abuja. And then she had to relocate to Lagos because the husband was in Lagos. And I said, did you have a conversation on it? You were earning 10 million per month in Abuja. Your husband is earning 1.5 million per month in Lagos. Why should you be the one to move to Lagos? He said, because he's the man. What do you think should have? I mean, right now the marriage is on the verge of divorce because she lost her job and she was resentful of the man and felt, you are the man, you should man up, you should be able to make the money, you should be able to provide. The man's capacity can only move from 1.5 to 1.6 or 7.
He will not be able to maintain her in the lifestyle to which she's accustomed. That's for sure. And except they have some very, 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 very serious, serious conversations and negotiations, and possibly even in writing about this sort of matters, it sounds to me that the incompatibility factor is, the risk there is very high. And those are the sort of things we'd pull out when we're dealing with people at the early stages of courtship, to say, listen, the reality of this is very, very vague to me. However, sometimes people are willing to bear the consequences if they understand clearly what they're potentially going to be. Hence the intelligence part of it.
If you haven't gotten a copy of this book, I am selling it. 5,000 naira, I will grab my copy now. We want everyone to have, because we are committed to building formidable families. So what can one do in a case like that? I'm a single lady. I'm earning almost 10x what my husband to be is going to be earning. And we are committed to each other.
Yes.
What should we do?
What should we do? Well, I don't know. It's a case-by-case scenario, I suppose. I don't know these people well enough, and I don't want to give
a blanket
answer that somebody is going to run amok with later on. Pastor Femi said, "Oh no,
I heard it on radio."
Yeah, I heard it on radio.
You would have gone back to work, and they'll come after me.
Yeah, they'll go after you. So let's save ourselves a little future headache, because the saying goes, if it's predictable, it's probably preventable. So let's not do it. But what I would suggest to such a couple, because people can't. There is a place for the prince and the pauper to both get married and to change their stars, so to speak.
Come on.
For people to elevate. So think about it carefully. If material things are important to you, if they really are, then it needs to be very close to your deal breaker mark.
Yeah.
But if it's not, then you might be able to go for a compromise. But that fella needs to have demonstrated that he's capable not only of meeting your needs, but also improving along the way.
No, I think what happens is this, and I'm saying this from a woman's point of view. I have a couple of girls that I talk to, and a lot of girls are under pressure to get married.
Yes.
And these girls are earning well. And they assume that when they get married, the man that is earning 1.5 million, a miracle will suddenly happen and the money will now become 15 million. I want to bust your bubble. It's not going to happen.
It's unlikely to happen.
So, I'm not saying that the man that is not earning much can never earn more, but I'm saying earning.
It's unrealistic.
Yeah, earning is about capacity. If the man has the capacity to earn more, he will definitely earn more. So you cannot just base your choice on an assumption that because you think that the man is supposed to provide for the family, he will now have enough and just start providing. So if you're a girl and you want to make a decision, go and read The Intelligent Marriage and understand that you need to check all sides.
Everything.
All the sides. And if your income and your standard of living is important to you, then you need to visit that.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's
Don't fall
nothing.
into the trap of feeling either guilt or shame or pressure from your friends or the public that, oh, she's just a money talker. There's nothing wrong with it. You're just thinking very clearly about your prospects in life. I mean, for goodness sake, the story of Isaac and Rebekah, when Eliezer went hunting for a wife for Isaac, he laid the ground. He told them the thing. He said, this is my master. And he's this, he's that. He gave them the resume.
It was here.
And Rebecca said, okay, let's do that. you know, he put rings on her finger. He put bangles on her. He mesmerized her with everything. And he gave the resume of the family. And she said, come on, let's go. I've never seen this guy, but I know I'm going to have a good life. Come on. If you have a concern that you will not have a good life with somebody, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Honestly, don't do it. There's somebody else for you. There's somebody else for him.
So, what about when you feel pressurized? What about, some people say in our world, they say it's God's will. Could it be God's will?
It could be God's will, but you have to be really convinced because it will be tested.
Ooh.
Everything God's will be tested. I mean, I'm a missionary and I left a very good job. My wife left thriving businesses in Essex. When we moved to North Wales, we were convinced it was God's will. I'm telling you, within 12 months of moving to North Wales, the whole family was in tears. Everybody's crying. Everybody wants to go back to Essex. It was tested sorely.
It was still God's will.
It was God's will. We've been there now 17 years and God has confirmed himself in so many different ways. So you have to be sure that this is God's will. And so, if it's God's will, then difficult times will arise. The Bible says that he that will live righteous in this life will have troubles, tribulations. So you want to follow God's will? Remember Jesus' path. The cross is ahead. So that's all I say to women and men like that. Just hold it like that. But I will question it anyway, because he has sort of delegated that to us according to scripture. Generally, you choose.
We're still talking about intelligently making that choice. There's still one more phrase or word in that your definition of marriage.
Which part of it?
Yeah, you said something about
it is based on promises of
faithfulness, devotion, and exclusive sexual intimacy.
Yes.
Exclusive sexual
intimacy.
There's no other way about it.
There's no way around it. It's just me and you. It's me and you, babe. It's me and you only. No other way around it. Exclusive. And by the way, that includes pornography. Because pornography means your sexual life is not exclusive with your spouse. It's not exclusive to you.
That means a third party is coming.
Bringing a third party in.
No
It might be secretive, but there is a third party.
Ooh.
And there is a spiritual dynamic with which that will function. For those of us that believe in spiritual dynamics,
wow,
it will function as if the third party actually is in the room, and it will decimate your intimacy with the other party. So, yeah, exclusive sexual intimacy, but and a flip side of that is this. I know this is the bit that gets banged on too much for my liking. Nevertheless, it is the truth, and it's in the scriptures. The denying each other of sexual things, because we're hardwired for sex. People who say sex is this and that, when the person now does the sex thing now, you blame them for betrayal. Yet it wasn't important before.
But I think what we need to look at, both of us now being married, I think we need to let married people know that sex is very important in marriage.
Yes.
And we need to sit down and talk about it.
Absolutely.
How do I understand your sexual language? How do I know how to tantalize you? How do I know how to turn you on? What do you do that puts me off? I think husband and wife should sit down and have that conversation.
They should. Absolutely.
That would help.
Yes. It's one of the areas we broach it slightly in the pre-marital, but then post-marital, they need to keep being mentored, but people need to be able to talk about it. I put it this way: be courageous. Take courage and ask the questions you need to ask, or tell the person what you're looking for or what you don't know, and then you should share about it. Yes.
We have to stop very shortly. I want you to tell us one more thing that the single can prepare for in their marriage, and then we'll go on to a second segment.
Right. One more thing that singles can think of in terms of preparation. Oh my word. Which one of all these different things should I pick? one more thing that singles
maybe
should
finances,
think about.
maybe in-law relations and all those things. How do they? I don't know.
I think the whole idea of where are we going,
Vision.
purpose,
Where are we going?
where are we going?
Individually and
Together and individually, yes, indeed. Because yes, you're looking for the deepest kind of intimacy, but invariably there'll be some things that are just about you. Where are we going? Vision and purpose is really important. Even if you have to change course along the way, because things, there are lumps and bumps in the road or whatever, you need to have a direction from the beginning.
Okay.
Where are we going as a couple and as a family?
So we're leaving these with you. In the course of deciding who to marry, make intelligent decisions.
Yes, ma'am.
And you can make that by getting a copy of The Intelligent Marriage. You can get it on Seller. You can get it on Amazon. If you're in the UK, US, Canada, you can get it there. And I think it's going to help your marriage. My guest today has been Pastor Femi Ogumbanwo, all the way from Wales, United Kingdom. And in the next episode, we're going to talk about our personal experiences. That may help you. And then that will let you know that even, say, the rich also cry. Pastors too do have challenges, but they overcome it because they have God with them in the marriage. Keep listening to Family Today with Funmi Johnson and stay tuned to this station. Remember, follow me, the Funmi Johnson.
Family Today with Femi Johnson is powered by the Capstone Church Without Walls.